Yes.
Action taken on student.
Yeah, everybody here except Mr. Hernandez, and he's not here this evening. Want to welcome everybody to our board meeting. Can you hear me? Okay. So I'll call the meeting to order. We're reconvening in open session. Action taken in closed session. We pulled student number 3, so there's no report on that. And we need a vote on the other 2. So do I hear a motion?
Madam President, can we start with, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance? And
Yes, we do.
okay.
It's not
Duh.
here.
Okay. Maria, will you lead the pledge, please?
Of course. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Maria. Okay. Now, we can go. Again, student number 3 was pulled from the agenda, so there's no action taken.
What number is it?
We had a report on some education codes and on from our attorney. Direction has been given to our superintendent. So this, we denied a claim against the school on a dinged window, so that claim has been denied.
This is the one that we're not paying.
Okay, I just said that.
Yeah, it's under number 5.
Okay.
Just so you don't get.
So we need to approve the student matter on student number 202201. Is there a motion?
If there is no questions, I move that we accept the following, the expulsion of student number 2022-01.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you. Okay, we'll now go to student number 202202.
If there are no questions, I move to approve the recommended stipulated expulsion agreement case number 2022-02.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay. That information will be taken care of. Again, student number 2022-3 was pulled from the agenda. Okay. So I think now we can go to communications. Trustee Garcia Reese.
Welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone, and I really want to welcome our fall weather. It's beautiful out there. And just, I wanted to encourage all the students and the parents that all these fall activities that we take into consideration, of course, keeping safe. Let's follow all the COVID protocols. And I really want to congratulate Samantha Garcia, who is the first girl to score on a football team. I saw that and I thought that is the most
In our league.
in our league and in our school, right? There was another Spartan football female player, but she was the first one to ever score. So I just thought that was amazing. Just for her to take the initiative and to have the courage to be out there and everything. I think it's a wonderful display for our future our future children. So that's it.
Okay, Trustee Pinedo?
Good evening, honorable board members and distinguished guests. Muy buenas tardes, miembros honorables de la mesa directiva, distinguidos invitados. Just some of what has been going on. I attended the input meeting for the planning of the Aquatic Center at Southwest High School in September. It's really exciting to see that this project is coming to fruition. I toured the Southwest High School on October 1st. I want to thank all the teachers and the staff that took time to share their activities with us and how this year is going. I also attended the Meadows Union Elementary Visioning Meeting at Meadows School on October 5th, along with Trustee Garcia-Rees and Dr. Andrews, and Meadows had a great turnout at that meeting. And then finally, the Imperial County Office of Education's Autumn in the Arts Fundraiser on October 7th, attended that in support of arts education. It was an evening full of art and music. There was performances by Savapa Music and the Southwest High School Orchestra. It was a wonderful dinner prepared by the Southwest Culinary Arts class. Congratulations to all our Central Union High School students that were part of that event, and thank you for highlighting why it's so important to support the arts in our district. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. Good evening, board members, student board members, Dr. Andrews, and those in attendance. I want to begin my report by expressing my gratitude to the district staff for showing up every day and playing their part in educating our children. Next, I wanted to report that I also attended several sporting events at Central and Southwest. I also visited Centro and Desert Oasis in both parent and work duties. These visits were unannounced. The school may not like it, but I like this approach as I get to receive the parent experience, the general visitor experience, all positive things. So we're very proud of our schools. October 6th was National Coaches Day. I want to thank all of our district coaches for all they do and all the time they give our children. The highlight of my month was the food bank Harvest Bowl. So I didn't know that the Southwest Culinary Arts team was serving. Miss Hill, from my experience, Miss Hill, the students, they left a lasting impression. The great job of expressing themselves, and how they represent our school. I'm very, very proud of them. Lastly, in regards to the state mandates that we hear in the news that will be affecting us next year, I just want to let the children, our students, the parents, and the staff know that my daughters, my family, and myself, we share our concerns and frustrations with many of you. However, one thing that I've learned about our district is that our district and our board has always been willing to adapt. We've always been willing to correct, and we're always been willing to accommodate. So just have no doubt that our district and our school board will continue to do so. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. I would like to, first of all, welcome our student board rep, Dulce Gutierrez, her first night tonight. I would also like to say that the El Centro Education Foundation was a foundation created, 25, 30 years ago. And it's the combination, it supports both the elementary and the high school. And we give scholarships to students, we give faculty grants if they apply. But I just want to say that the last two meetings of the foundation, we have given money for the El Centro Elementary School District to put new bad lockers in one of their schools. And we've also voted to provide new sound system in Jimmy Cannon Theater. So that's a chunk of change that probably totals up to over $100,000. So the Centro Education Foundation does some good things. Last year we gave over $30,000 in student scholarships. So if you're a senior, apply for the foundation scholarship. Okay? Again, I've gone to a number of athletic events, and I'm a big sports fan. I'll just leave it at that. Dr. Andrus? Oh, no, let's see. Student board members now. Do you have anything to report?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Laura?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. Sophia Lara, Southwest School Board Representative, and I'll start my report by talking about our ASB committee. Our PR committee is responsible for our social media. It has been really successful in promoting in our Cte Champs t-shirts in our Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We nominated our homecoming court. We planned a successful second homecoming spirit week. It was called Lunching into Eagle Country, which had a lot of participation on campus from students and staff. We're also honoring faculty birthdays for those who would like to be recognized at the beginning of each month. October was already done last week on Friday morning during advisory. Last week on Friday, October 8th, we had 2 successful homecoming assemblies in our football field and went great and got a lot of students really excited too. Also on Friday night, we had a homecoming football game against Calexico, and it wasn't really successful. We lost, but it was really successful and beautiful night announcing the homecoming king and queen, our amazing student, Julissa Vizcarra and Shanu Valmiki. We are continuing the tradition of recognizing coach and athlete t-shirts and students of the month. Our second coach was, our coach of the month was Mr. Montiali, and our teacher of the month was our English teacher, Ms. Ramirez. We're doing a food can drive that ends next Wednesday on October 20th. Football games went great with excellent attendance in our student section. The school spirit week seems to be really high right now, with people excited to attend games. We are attending this Thursday our varsity football team against Raleigh at Southwest High School. The breast cancer awareness game will be going with Link Crew. A social awareness week has been said and done, and it's planned throughout November 1st throughout November 5th. We plan to make bag lunches on November 3rd to support the Red Cross feeding the homeless. In our hosted department, we have implemented a good amount of effort into the mental health project, have created a nest for students to relax during lunch, participated in a mental health day last week at IBC, and it was very successful. Have been working on the school board drive schedule and are completely filled, and it began on October 13th. Around 70 to 80 members have been certified. We are working on the Ice Cream Social and Regional Leadership Conference fundraiser throughout the Booster Club by selling raffle tickets. Our FFA team, so during the 25th and 27th of October, we have students actively partaking in national conventions. Students are competing in the opening closing ceremonies competition this Wednesday, October 13th in Hopeville. Our chapter officers will be attending the so-called conference in Norco this Saturday, and our chapter is also actively supporting our school board drive by creating posters collecting canned goods for ASB. Our Savapa Theater had their first debut on stage this school year with the opening show titled A Family Reunion to Die For. That was September 24th and September 25th. Our dance, Savapa, had a very successful performance in both of our assemblies last Friday. Our Avid Club students have been reading our bulletin. They have been working on Doorway to College. They have been doing lunchtime activities, planning on doing a movie night in November. Seniors are working on their FAFSA and college applications, and juniors are taking their PSAT for free. Link Crew established committees. They have been going to advisories on Fridays, talking to kids. Link Crew meetings on both classes. They have been doing lunch activities first and second, and they are going to attend the volleyball game against Raleigh with ASB. And Academic have begun planning a fundraiser, have been planning a field trip to a bioresearch aquarium to learn more about an annual subject on science, marine biology, creating a plan to study all materials before team selection in January, and are planning after-school meetings, and the new club is ultimately doing well. And our culinary arts program has been doing very well, and kids have been learning a lot of new skills in their kitchen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Laura. We'll now have Ms. Navarrete from Centro Union High School.
Okay, so good evening, board members, Superintendent Andrews, and community members. My name is Magali K. Navarrete, and I'm your board representative for Central Union High School. During the month of September, our ASB has continued to focus on reestablishing our school spirit by supporting our fall sports teams, posting on social media about occurring events and educational opportunities, continuing our We Wear Blue on Fridays campaign, and holding Friday lunch activities in our quad. In support of the Sandy Hook Promise campaign, Start with Hello, our ASB has had a week-long event dedicated to connecting our students on campus by setting up posters and allowing our students to write kind messages, encouraging students to perform kind actions, and handing out bracelets to remind our students to be kind. Other events taking place within September were our yearbook and ID pictures on September 2nd, our Higher Education Spirit Week that took place from September 13th through 17th. Last week, our ASB helped assemble and deliver Spartan Pride bags and shirts to every student on campus. The bags contain masks, lanyards, and hand sanitizer. We hope to get class pictures with our students in blue this Friday. Our fall athletics have continued to be in session and have been running smoothly with their games and practices. Our commissioners of athletics have worked hard supporting our students and their teams by keeping our students informed about game dates, themes for our Blue Zone student section, and other important information through their athletics Instagram page at CUHS Athletics. Our upcoming athletic events include October 15th, our homecoming varsity football game at 7 p.m., October 21st, our City Champs football game at 7 p.m., October 29th, our bell game at 7 p.m., and our future ASB events include from October 5th to 20th, Feed Your City Food Drive, October 12th through the 15th, our Homecoming Spirit Week, October 16th, our Homecoming Dance, which is from 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., on October 18th, our Spooky Spartan Door Decorating Contest, on October 21st, our Red Shoe Day from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., October 25th through the 29th is our Bell Game Spirit Week, and October 28th is our Halloween Carnival during both lunches. I thank you for your time tonight, and I remind everyone to follow Central's ASB on our social media accounts at CUHS_updates and CUHS Spartans on TikTok. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Gutierrez?
Good evening, Superintendent Andrews and board members, CUHSD staff, and all of those in attendance. My name is Ruth Gutierrez. I'm a senior at Discrepancies High School and student board representative. Thank you for having me. Our student service club has been leading many school activities. On the last day of Higher Ed Week, club members held a high school Q&A virtual meeting with Washington Elementary students. We answered questions regarding high school, such as like what classes we taking. Is there like one of their questions was like, is there a pool or something? So on the week of the 20th, the school of September 20th observed the Start with the Hello week, Sandy Hook Promise. So we hand out bracelets for the students and advisories, and we made a poster that students put positive greetings. So in the middle of our poster, we put Start with a Hello. And this October, every Wednesday, the students will be wearing pink for breast cancer awareness. We're also participating on the district-wide food drive, and we're making the students like having like a little competition. So the ones who bring most cans will get like a breakfast, like donuts or something. Mm-hmm. Also, we're doing it with Phoenix Rising. So since they're like a little small group, we're making them compete with each other. Also, we're having our Halloween decorating contest for our advisories. So we're encouraging the students to celebrate Halloween and get more into it. So we're having a contest with them, and the one who has the most creative door will get a prize, which is like a pizza party and stuff like that. Also, since we have art now, they are holding a carnival for our Desiree and Phoenix Rising students. It will be a fall carnival. And it will be held in November 6th at Desiree. Also, we have been updating on our Instagram and Desiree and the activities that we make. We take pictures of the students who are participating, so we can encourage the other students to participate in our activities. And thank you for the opportunity for me to having me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. And I hear from Dr. Andrus.
Thank you, Madam President and trustees and our guests who are here, our parents who are actually really excited to see their students recognized. We appreciate them. So just I'll make my my report brief. Again, the phrase that I introduced last month, chugging back to normal, which was shared with me by a teacher at Southwest High School, still really makes sense. We're slowly kind of getting back to normal routines, but it's not easy and it's not smooth. So we're still, in essence, kind of chugging back. We have ended the first quarter. Grades have been submitted for the quarter grades, and we're halfway through this first semester. We're still really clearly adjusting to be back in person. There's still lots of adjustments that are being made to coming back in person. One of our biggest challenges is that we are seeing quite a few, or an increase in absences by our staff members, not just teachers, but classified staff as well, as they address health concerns and other things they may have going on. And so I really want to say thank you to our staff, our teachers who are covering classes. Even our administrators are covering classes. Our classified staff are kind of picking up the slack when something's not done. They're covering others' duties and so forth. That's from the top to the bottom. We're seeing, people who normally don't drive buses or driving buses or working the lunch lines or working the lunch lines because we're short staffed. So we really appreciate all of those who are coming to work every day and encourage those who are having challenges. Hopefully they'll be able to overcome them. Teachers are seeing, also I've talked to quite a few teachers, they are seeing some gaps in what students' skills are because we've had a little bit of a gap in learning. But I also see teachers making adjustments, and they've talked about how we're making adjustments, we're teaching things a little bit differently, we're going back and recovering things and doing that. What I really appreciate, and I see it in the eyes of students because you can't see them smile because of a mask, but students in their eyes, you can see they're pretty happy to be at school. As you heard from all of these reports, and I've actually ran into some of our students like walking around campus every once in a while, our student board members, just glad to be at school, that we're in person, that we can have activities, they can be around their friends, and those social connections are also happening. They're also really enjoying being with their teachers in person, be able to see them and interact with them. Those relationships is the magic of education, where our teachers cause those learning experiences to occur, and the students, that light bulb comes on, like, oh, I get it now, or they achieve that skill. That's still what's happening, and we're seeing that in our classrooms. This year we instituted an opportunity for students. We call it Student Voice Projects. So earlier this year, we met with all the student ASBs, our students who are here, and said, if you could do a project that you didn't have to do fundraising for, what would you want it to be? And then we talked about it, and they've discussed some ideas, and we're going to fund those projects. So we're looking, and actually one of the agenda items on tonight's agenda is a contract for one of those services. Again, these are student voice projects where the students ASB are putting on a program like the ones we've heard, but it's being funded by the district. So they're not having to do fundraisers for it. So we're excited about that opportunity to have students lead out. We have launched our COVID clinics. That's on-site testing. It started actually yesterday. They were actually setting up and they actually performed a couple of tests even yesterday on a non-student day for our other staff who are here. And I took a test this morning, a surveillance test. But we're in the very initial days of those service, so a lot of the little kinks and bugs are getting worked out as their staff gets up to speed. Right now they're doing the PCR tests until their antigen test materials arrive because they've been delayed. Desert Oasis has a schedule finally. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, but it will be there every day. And the other schools are 7:30 to 4:30. And those are available to any students or employees or family members of those students or employees. They're able to go and get tested if they think they've been exposed or they're just not feeling well. In the case of our employees, there's a requirement if they haven't been vaccinated to get tested weekly. And there's even a requirement for some of our student groups, such as wind instrument players in the band. And we're also going to be working with probably indoor in-season sports. So they're also tested regularly. So that service is available on campus, and They're not having to travel anywhere for that activity. Our layers of mitigation are still in place. Masks are still required indoors by the California Public Health Order. There is discussion that might be changed come November, but we haven't seen any indication yet. So we're going to continue with the requirement. As we know, October 1st, the governor announced a vaccine mandate for all employees and students in California. This is really challenging for some families. For other families, they encourage it. As we know, people are all over the spectrum in terms of agreement or disagreement with such an order. The timeline, the effective date is all contingent on the FDA approval and then California rulemaking. So it is possible that it would be January 1st, but more likely it'll be July 1st. So we're just waiting to see how all that process shakes out. And as we get information, we'll inform our community of what those requirements will be. The County Department of Public Health has actually offered again to offer vaccine clinics on our campuses. So we'll be working with them to schedule some clinics in the coming months to make that available for families again, for students. Under the area of educational services, again, we see our students are being very compliant in classrooms. The student activities have found ways to, even though they're wearing masks, are still very involved in all their class activities and making things happen. Assemblies, performances, plays, athletics, field trips, and just regular classroom work is happening regularly. We're excited about that. We are concerned about the attendance rate in schools. Inevitably, because of the pandemic and the counsel to stay home when you're sick, kids who normally have the sniffles or something aren't fighting through that. They're staying home and trying to figure out, do I have COVID or not? So we are seeing a dip in our attendance rate. We've also seen a slightly lower enrollment in the district, and so we are concerned that in the coming year or so, that might affect the district's funding, which would cause a reduction in services or funding in some ways. We have to address that, but we're concerned with that a little bit. We're also excited to announce the launch of the Parent University. Parent University is a program for parents that's coming up starting, I believe, in the next couple of weeks, where parents will be participating in their own classes. It's a partnership with Fresno State. And there's still opportunity to work with Parent University. I think one of the first classes is financial literacy. We're excited about the STEM building nearing completion. We actually have a tentative completion date in late November. We don't have a firm date, so it's tentative. So I remind everyone, it's a tentative date. But in the month of November, we're seeing that. So we are working on a ribbon cuttings and community tours are being planned, and we'll have a formal announcement closer to the end of October, maybe the very beginning of November, when those dates firm up. But we are seeing the close of that, which is really exciting because it is indicating that our staff will be in the building, will be able to teach even possibly before the end of the semester, which is great news for the second semester. We are planning on another aquatic center meeting, probably for December or January. We had a terrific community meeting earlier in September. A lot of great input. We also had the thought exchanges, those surveys. They were online. And those are now closed, but they're available for people to look at on our Community Relations webpage. We also did a Southwest High School student-only survey and got input from the Southwest High School students. So that was available for them. So we look forward to that and bringing that forward. We have dozens of positions that are still unfilled and openings. We don't see a lot of folks applying for positions. We have been able to fill a few of them. We've expanded our advertising campaign on some digital billboards around the community. And we look forward to hopefully filling more of those positions as we've added new positions. Even, for example, our new health clerks will be starting in the coming weeks. And then Parent Square is still our primary messaging system for families, but there's so much information that can be found on our district web pages. So we encourage the community to continue looking there. Thank you, Madam President.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Andrus. We will now go to my favorite part of the meeting, student recognition. If we could have Mr. O'Campbell come, he'll be first. Desert Oasis.
Good afternoon, board and members of the public. For Desert Oasis, actually we're going to start with Phoenix Rising. I don't know if Oscar's here? Ramos? Oh, back there, okay. So our first one is Oscar Ramos from Phoenix Rising. Oscar is 15 years old. He's in the Phoenix Rising program. Oscar started in elementary at Lincoln Elementary, and he was part of the ASB, that's what he wrote here. And he was in the soccer team, and he went to Kennedy Middle School, and he was part of the ACES. And also he's been in boxing for the last 2.5 years. His future plans are to pass Phoenix Rising, finish his program, move back to Centro, He wants to graduate from high school with honors. After high school, he wants to attend IVC and wants to be a police officer, so he wants to go to the police academy at IVC. The teacher's comments, is that Oscar is positive, always willing to participate in class, help his classmates. He's always able to maintain straight A's, hardworking student, perfect attendance, and always on task. So Oscar, so you're the student of the month for Phoenix Rising.
Yay.
So congratulations. Our second student for the month is for Desert Oasis, and is Elvis Vasquez. He's a senior there at Desert Oasis. He's 17. His hobbies are soccer, art, and graphic design. He's planning to attend IVC and to major in computer science, and then transfer to a university to obtain his bachelor's degree. Comments from his teachers that he's extremely smart, participates in class, and others listen when he talks. He's very respectful, very attentive, and a good listener, and is always engaged and focused. He's kind to his classmates and very respectful to staff. So for Desert Oasis Student of the Month is Elvis Vasquez. Elvis. These are my two students for both schools.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the past, we've always been able to have the students come up and smile and get pictures taken, but due to the restrictions, we have to forego that right now. Let's have Mr. Craig Lyon from Centro.
Good evening. Okay, obviously this is always a great opportunity for us to recognize students. Now that we get to do it in person, it's even better. So I'm going to bring up my first student is Luis Estrada. Is Luis here? All right, come up here. Stand so everybody can see you. Luis is one of our student of the months for our health department. His teacher indicates that Luis is a great student who is always eager to learn. He continuously participates in class and asks questions to further conversations. He is always eager to help a fellow student or teacher whenever they need help. Luis is a joy to have in class. And in the future, he says to go to ASU, Arizona State, do culinary arts. Hopefully we won't lose him to Southwest. And if possible, become a chef. So congratulations. There you go. Yep. Our next student of the month is Nathan Embryo. Is he here? Come on over. Hopefully I said that last name correct. Have that. All you have to do is listen to the student bulletin. I screw up names all the time. Nathan, teacher indicates that Nathan is a student who works hard in class. While he is quiet, he participates and assists other students when they need help with an answer. Nathan is very reliable and responsible. I can always count on him to start a class conversation. Nathan is a great addition to my class. And his future plans are, he says, once he gets out of high school, he's going straight to the Marines. So, congratulations. Our next student is Jesus Valenzuela Venegas. Is Jesus here? All right, well, he's not here at this point, but they just want to let you know the teacher indicated Jesus is an incredible leader. He has allowed his lab team to try new things, fail, succeed, and learn by identifying each member's strengths and coaching them. He demonstrates patience when most needed. He is also a determined student who pushes himself to excel and always aims to give his best. And he wants to do real estate in the future. So I'll get this to him tomorrow. And our final student, also for our science department, is Amy Barrett. So Amy, her teacher says, is the ideal science student. She is a great critical thinker, has great critical thinking skills that she uses in her class, 2 science classes this year. Her laboratory reports are thoughtful and analytical of her own practice. She maximizes time during experimentation. She is also a great leader who utilizes her teammates' abilities to the common goal of the team. She is articulate young person who represents the science department well. She says in the future she hopes to attend a 4-year university, preferably an Ivy League school, study medicine, and become a very well-known doctor. So hopefully she'll come back and take care of me later on. So, also we want to say she's part of our varsity volleyball team. I know they're playing Palo Verde, so I think they're going to be getting out of here pretty quick. They're doing very well in league, and hopefully they'll beat Palo Verde tonight and keep that league championship in order. So, congratulations. Thank you, and that
Mr. Lyon.
takes care of our Student of the Month.
We'll now have Mr. Phillips.
Thank you, Ms. President. All right, good evening, everybody. We choose our Students of the Month by grade, and I'd like to start with our 9th grade student, Casey McFadden. Come on up, Casey. I guess Casey wasn't able to join us. We were expecting him, so maybe they're watching at home. Casey enjoys visiting the beautiful library at Southwest High School, reading, playing basketball, and PE. He enjoys running, except the mile. He says that all of the teachers are nice and help him when he needs it. His plans are to graduate from high school and go to college in New York or San Diego and get a job as a game programmer, music producer, or maybe a police officer. So congratulations to Casey. I hope his family's watching from home. Our sophomore is Renzo Herrera. All right, Renzo. Congratulations. Renzo is participating in mock trial. We've got an enthusiastic mock trial team who are off to a great start, looking forward to the competition. And Renzo's plans are to go to college, get a degree, and become a successful lawyer. So you're going to be well on your way. Looking forward to you representing Southwest in the courtroom. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. All right, our junior is Nathan Osterman. Nice little Nate. Nate and I go back to when he was not as tall as me. And Nate is a swimmer. He swam for Southwest in 20 and 21. Looking forward to this year's season. He is an academic decathlete in 21 and 22. You may remember Nate from the National Spelling Bee. He enjoys the Imperial Valley Desert Aquatics and Southwest High School basketball. His future plans are attend college, earn a master's degree, major in environmental or engineering fields, and he hopes to win the IVLs with Southwest this coming swim season. Go Eagles. Nathan, congratulations. All right, and our senior is Angel Lyon Frias. Angel Lyon. Congratulations, Angel Lyon. He is a member of our Link crew, helping students manage and find their way at high school. He is in the computer science club. His hobbies include playing video games, watching anime, and working out. He plans to attend Imperial Valley College and transfer to a UC where, do you know what you're going to study? Engineering. So congratulations and have a great rest of your senior year. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. Congratulations, students. Okay, at this time, the Board of Trustees will hear comments, presentations, or requests on matters listed on this agenda or other topics that are not on the agenda but are within the board's jurisdiction. Speakers are requested to give their names and addresses. Time limit for speakers is 3 minutes. The board shall limit the total time for presentations, and this meeting is being recorded.
Madam President, I don't know if we have any comment cards for you, but I think Mr. Weldon would like to make comment.
Yeah, that I was told that there are no more comment cards, that
Okay.
we weren't doing that. And that's why I didn't, that's why I
Okay,
didn't
thank
fill
you.
one out.
So I
Go
think
ahead.
you'll just need to call on them as they
Go
come.
ahead, Mr. Weldon.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much. Hi, my name is David Weldon. I'm a teacher here at Southwest High School, live at 612 South G. Hey, on or near September 9th of this year, the Centro Union High School District suspended all evaluations of permanent employees. This happened against our ECSA contract as well as the Ed Code 446604. I personally delayed the grievance, hoping that there would be a MOU. I went ahead and I did my level 1 grievance, and that is ongoing within this district, which is now near the end of level 1. I have talked to UniServe, and the process continues. I work in a defined world of mathematics, and I have no idea why you as board members would, I have never heard of you suspending evaluations. And I have no idea why a school district would say that you will not follow the Ed Code, not being evaluated per the contract, and the Ed Code is a change of working conditions to me. I thought we would have an MOU, but that has not happened. I'm here to work with you, but no one has, like I told you before, no one has the right to violate my contract, nor enter into a signed MOU. We haven't signed into an MOU or anything. As a district, you can extend the evaluation cycle in accordance with Ed Code. Nothing is happening, no MOU is coming. I fully expect the ECSTA will take over my grievance. On the last time I was here, I didn't really have that because I timed out my speech, you know what I'm saying? So I would hope as a board, again, I asked the guy out at UniServe, I was like, who tells the school district to follow Ed Code? I shouldn't have to sit here and request for you guys to go into an MOU. Please, all permanent employees are evaluated every 2 years, or you or the evaluator and the evaluatee will go on an extended cycle. You are welcome to, and I have already given language, but nothing's happening. I honestly say to you, as a board, as a solution, extend out to a 4-year cycle, and please be in accordance to Ed Code. That's right. That's all I want. Right. So we're not following the contract. When we don't follow the contract, it's I'm still here. Hey, listen, I'm going to be with you, good or bad, and we're here together. But you know what? I don't understand how you can't follow Ed Code. And if somebody says, well, David, we have the right not to follow Ed Code, nobody's told me that. So I mean, buy me a cup of coffee and take me outside, but I don't understand. So I'm a big guy. I'm really looking forward today to understanding what is going on. Why I do not like things breaking the Ed Code, breaking our contract, and then negotiating in the rears. I do not like that. That is not effective communication. Right? If they wanted to disavow all of this stuff, push back and please follow that part of the Ed Code. You can extend all of your evaluators, you can tell them to extend out to 4 years all of the cycles. That has already been contract language. So I'm approaching the end of my 3 minutes. I do appreciate you very much. And like I say, hey, now I'm here and other positive things. Hey, I've been doing geometry walks. Hopefully I've been sharing, so I got bigger fish to fry, and I'm being real positive. Again, this is a kind of a point to me. Kind of like we all have the right to speak up. I don't see anybody else doing it, and I'm not just placating and carrying the cross. I'm just saying, I don't get it. I don't see how you as a school board can willfully say, we're not going to evaluate anybody on our permanent employees. I don't understand it. So anyway, maybe I'm not supposed to understand everything, and I have a loving wife and 2 healthy children. So right, and so I know everything.
Okay, that's 4 minutes.
That's my 4 minutes. You know what, Emily, you're always so good to me. True, I always appreciate you. Hey, you guys have a lovely day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Weldon. I think we have a young lady. I think I recognize her from the past.
Good evening, board members and trustees. My name is Daniela Bastidas from the El Centro FFA chapter. I am currently serving as a reporter, and I am also from Southwest High School. To start off, on September 25th of 2021, El Centro FFA hosted the annual Sectional Leadership Conference and Basketball Tournament, which 11 chapters from all across the section came to participate in, ranging from Calexico to Blythe to Coachella. We had an attendance of roughly 200 members. Members got to play in a basketball tournament against other chapters, in which Calipatria took first place in this year. Lunch was made by Southwest's Culinary Arts program. After lunch, members participated in a leadership conference in which they went through different workshops and rotations that focused on premier leadership development. Furthermore, on October 1st, our chapter officers had the opportunity to attend the IVROP CTE training to expand on their leadership potential. Our officers were granted leadership skills and lessons which they can continue to utilize throughout their year of service. Additionally, on October 2nd, 10 of El Centro's members helped cater at the Ducks Unlimited dinner hosted at the California Midwinter Fairgrounds as an act of community service. This event included raffles and an auction, which all proceeds were donated to charity. On October 4th, 2 section officers from El Centro, Michelle Flores and myself, traveled to Lakeside, California to help facilitate the Discovery Leadership Conference. The Discovery Leadership Conference is a conference that focuses on Discovery chapters and introducing them to the ins and outs of FFA. A Discovery chapter is a chapter that has members from any ages between 6th and 8th grade. Our members helped facilitate workshops and aided the Southern Region officers in keeping the room comfortable and under control. On October 6th, roughly 30 Greenhand freshmen with our advisors, Mrs. Mayo and Miss Abadi Fitzerka, traveled to Calipatria for the Greenhand Leadership Conference, which was run by our California FFA state staff. At this conference, just like the Discovery Leadership Conference, members are introduced to the ins and outs of FFA. This conference serves to put new members on the right path as they begin their journey in this organization. Moreover, last Thursday, 10 ladies of the El Centro FFA participated in the first California Women of Agriculture meeting of the year. This meeting discussed new business, old business, and plans for expanding our club throughout the year. In addition, tomorrow, 54 students will travel to Hopeville to compete in the opening closing ceremonies contest. Teams will compete in both advanced and novice categories. Last but not least, our advanced interdisciplinary science for sustainable agriculture students have officially wrapped up their Magnitude IO exolabs for the year. As of last week, students took their last observations on their legumes, cleaned out growth chambers, and stored their exolab kits away. We would like to give a special thanks to Dr. Anders, who helped our program obtain these kits. For those of you who may not know, the Advanced Interdisciplinary Science of Sustainable Agriculture students of the El Centro FFA chapter took part in the ExoLab 9 mission to investigate the effect stress of spaceflight has on the symbiotic relationship of legumes and nitrogen-fixing Rhizobia bacteria. In collaboration with Magnitude IO, students acquired growth chambers equipped with Wi-Fi cameras, CO2 monitors, humidity monitors, and light manipulation designed for plant growth and photosynthesis. As mission participants, El Centro's members grew red clover legumes in the 1G environment of Earth as part of the ground control environment, while comparing results to the flight experiment in the microgravity environment of the International Space Station. In essence, the ExoLab 9 sets out to answer the question, can legumes grow in space? El Centro FFA was able to collect comparative data on both environments, being Earth and the International Space Station. Once again, we want to give a special thanks to Dr. Anders, who was able to obtain these ExoLab kits for us. Thank you for your time, and if you would like to keep up with us, you can go ahead and follow us on EC_FFA on Instagram, and you can also check out our website, which is in the bio of our Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice report. Anyone else want to speak? I guess so.
Please. I'm David Henderson. I'm the librarian at Central and at Southwest. I'm here to talk about the, how would you say, the safety net that we no longer have as employees regarding the COVID pandemic. Today in the New York Times, there was an article about how people that are 65 years and older and immune compromised are at the same risk that they were at the outset of the pandemic, even with vaccinations. It's a scary time now to be in that class and to know that you're exposed on a regular basis to people who may have COVID. As our reports continue coming in that, we have infections on campus, and without the safety net of knowing that we're beyond our 2 weeks that we're given each year for health needs, that time can expand considerably longer if you are in that classification. And I ask you, please, that we need to have a memorandum of understanding to be able to provide some sort of safety net for those of us who may grow ill due to our age and our medical conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Any other comments?
Good evening. Nice to see you guys are all well. My name is Dulce Cervantes. I'm a teacher at Central. I'm an English teacher at Central. And I'm here as not only your employee, but also as a parent. I have 3 issues that are of concern to me. And I'm going to ask you just to be proactive, first of all. For all these 3 issues, I'm just going to ask you to think and be proactive for our staff and our students. The first issue is, like Mr. Henderson spoke, is the MOU. We need to have some safety net for our staff members if they become ill. We just experienced something, not our family, but a family friend. We had to house their child for almost 2 months. The student wanted to continue going to school, and if he would have stayed home, he would have had to quarantine with his family. The family, it took him about a month and a half to get well, for the whole family to get well. And I thought, both my husband and I work for your district, and I thought if that happens to us, it would be really taxing financially for our family if we both had to quarantine together and have to use our sick leave and then pay for a sub. So I'm really asking you to encourage our district to work with us to have something, an extended sick leave or something for us. The second issue that I'm asking you to be proactive about is the COVID testing. I appreciate that we have these centers in each of our schools that we can test. Unfortunately, I see some divisiveness there where only unvaccinated have to be tested on a weekly basis and not everybody else. Or, students, I believe the email said that students that play wind instruments will have to be tested weekly. And I think that there's some divisiveness there. The CDC and several other studies have proven that whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, you can carry it and you can spread it. And if it's really about health concerns, if our number one concern is the health of all our staff and all our students, then we need to do something about it and not be divisive about that. I also heard that employees that got vaccinated got pins, like, thank you for, I don't know, I didn't get one obviously, but thank you for getting vaccinating and protecting everybody else. And I think that's divisive too. We used to, I don't know if you guys remember, a long time ago, we used to track students, right? We put the smart kids with the smart kids and the, not so smart kids, and we thought that was really divisive, and we ended that practice. And so I encourage you to consider that. I understand it's a CDC mandate or a state mandate, but there's a point where we as a community have to address those things for our community. Many of my students are fearful of things, and they don't understand why they're fearful. They're just fearful, and I encourage you to be proactive about that and not to create more divisiveness than we need to have. My third issue really quickly is a vaccine mandate, and I'm just going to leave you with these questions. Has our district been proactive and ready to face the issues that some staff and students will choose not to get vaccinated or continue to get boosters to be considered fully vaccinated if the criteria keeps on changing? Are you ready to support students and staff who submit exemptions? Is our district ready to provide equitable education for our students who are forced or to choose to go online? I've already had 2 students that went online, not because they wanted to, but their parents were fearful and they took them out of school and put them in online learning. And the students didn't want to, but they had to follow the guidelines of their parents. And I wondered, are they getting the equitable education? I don't know, because I don't teach the virtual school, and I'm not saying it isn't. I'm just asking you to be proactive and make sure that that's happening. And the last question is our district ready to fill the positions of staff members who choose to stand for freedom of choice over mandates if exemptions are not accepted in our district? So again, my last thing is thank you for listening, and I just ask you to be proactive and consider these things before it happens and it faces our district. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other people want to speak? Last call for comments. Seeing no others, the comment section is closed. We will now go to item 8, consent agenda items. All items appearing on the consent agenda are routine business matters, will be acted upon by one motion without discussion.
Madam President.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Approval of the agenda.
Oh.
It's okay.
Strike 2. We need to approve the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved and seconded.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. All those in favor say aye.
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 There's no students to the preferential vote. They've gone, so we'll skip that. Now we'll go to the consent agenda. I'll read the whole thing again. Consent agenda items. All items appearing on the consent agenda are routine business matters, will be acted upon by one motion without discussion. Should any board member request that an item be considered separately, that item will be added to the end of the regular agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'll make the
Mr.
motion.
Rodriguez, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Against say nay. Okay, the consent agenda items are approved. We'll now go to action items. The first action item is approval of the personnel report for October 2021. Is there a motion?
If there are no questions, I'll move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against, say nay. Okay, that item is approved. Approval of administrative employment of Jessica Mathy to assistant principal, special programs. The board is requested to approve the employment of Jessica Mathy to the position of assistant principal, special programs, with an effective date to be determined.
Ms. Jones, before there's a vote, I'd just like to introduce the candidate that we brought
Sure.
forward. We went through a process of selecting and interviewing candidates through a couple of rounds of interviews and selection process. And Miss Matthew is one of our own teachers. She teaches Spanish at Southwest High School. She's actually also done some extensive work in her own training in preparation for a position such as this. She's actually working on a doctorate's degree, and she is focusing on post-pandemic social emotional learning, how general education teachers will identify and address students' social emotional needs when they return to in-person learning. So it's very apropos that someone who's doing extensive work end up in a position like this where they're supporting a smaller population of students who need that extra amount of support. So we're grateful to have this candidate come forward and to be such a good fit at this time. She has other experiences around WASC and other activities like that, so we're glad to introduce her. Is Miss Matthew here tonight?
No, she's not.
Oh, she wasn't able to join us tonight, but that's the candidate that we brought forward for approval by the board.
Okay, thank you.
Did we also have a date? It says to be determined. I thought we had a date already.
I believe it's later this week. It depends on how soon we can get a substitute to replace her in her position.
Okay.
Okay,
If there are no further questions, I'll move to accept.
okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Okay, that has been approved. I guess you'll inform the candidate tomorrow?
Yes, yeah, we'll let them know. We'll actually make an announcement.
Thank you.
I'll send that out later this evening.
She's actually watching the live stream.
Oh, how you doing?
I guess she knows.
Now she knows. It's been completed.
Okay, item 3, proposed substitute daily and hourly rates of pay. The board is requested to approve changes to the attached substitute daily hour rates of pay with an effective date of 10/1/2021. Is there a motion to approve that item?
I would like to motion.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. That item is approved. Approval of the CUHSD ESSER. Are you going to have a presentation on that, I believe?
Yes, Madam President. Ms. Fox, our
Okay.
Assistant Superintendent, will be presenting some slides and a discussion with the board around our Sr3 plan. As she prepares and gets all that ready to go, this is part of the state and federal, I think this is a federal one, relief grant for COVID. This one carries us, this is probably the largest block of money that we've received, about $10.7 million to be spent in the coming years to support a variety of topics and concerns and things that are important to us. And so we're going to have a presentation on that.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Fox?
So good evening. So tonight I want to talk a little bit about the process to develop the Sr3 plan, our plans for spending the money, and some of our community feedback that we garnered in order to create our plan. So let's see, there we go. So first of all, what is Sr3? So COVID-19 federal funding came to us in the form of the American Rescue Plan Act. They also call it the ARP Act, also known as Sr3. It's the third ESSER round of money we received from that elementary secondary school relief fund. So these are emergency relief funds, one-time funding, not ongoing funding, to address the impact that COVID-19 has had and continues to have on schools across the nation. And so it was specifically for LEAs or school districts that received Title I Part A in 2021. So we did receive Title I Part A, therefore we were eligible for the Sr3 funding. There we go. So what are the requirements to receive the funding? Because the federal government always has specific requirements. One, we had to develop a plan for how we would use those funds. And the plan had to address students' academic, social, emotional, and mental health needs. We had to address the opportunity gaps that existed before and those that were exacerbated by COVID-19. We had to obtain community input. One thing to know in plans, we used to call it stakeholder engagement. They've now changed the language to community input. So they are synonymous. And the actions in the plan. The board had to adopt our plan on or before October 29th, and we have until September 30th of 2024 to use the funds. It's not cooperating very well with me. So there are specific components in this plan. Number one, we had to tie this plan back to other plans we have in our district. Plans such as the Safe Return to School plan, the ELO plan, our LCAP plan. So we had to make a specific connection between the Sr3 funding and other plans we currently are implementing in our district. There's the summary of the Sr3 expenditures. We had to outline our community engagement, and we had to address actions and expenditures in 3 categories. So strategies for continuous and safe in-person learning, addressing the impact of lost instructional time, and then the use of any remaining funds. And then there's a section where we have to ensure that these interventions are going to meet the outcomes that we're expecting, and how are we going to do that? What does that look like? So in that first component, the other plans that we referenced, so you'll see in this plan that we've referenced ELO, or the Expanded Learning Opportunity Grant. We're referencing the 21-22 LCAP, the Local Control Accountability Plan. We're referencing the COVID-19 Recovery Plan, the Learning Continuity Plan, and the Safe Return to In-Person Plan. All of those plans can be found on our website, and in the actual document, you will see that they are linked to where they are in our plan. So this is the summary of planned expenditures, the second component of the plan. So you'll see that we have a total of one-time funding of $10,745,927. That's our total one-time funds we're receiving under ESSER 3 or ARP. So in strategies for continuous and safe in-person learning, we've allocated $3,795,927. In addressing lost instructional time, which must be a minimum of 20% of your funding, $2,950,000, so that's 27.5% of our funding. And then the use of any remaining funds is the additional $4 million. So community engagement. This piece is really particular in the ESSER 3. There were particular things that we had to do and we had to call out in our plan. So we could also then use the community input we received for the other plans that were referenced. So back to the LCAP, back to the ELO, back to Safe Return to In-Person Learning, all of those plans. So we've done surveys, we've done thought exchange, virtual meetings, presentations at board meetings, different ways in the pandemic in which to garner that input from parents. On August 23rd, we used thought exchange. It was specific to ESSER 3. I had 117 individuals that responded. 92% of them were English and 8% were Spanish-speaking parents. 21% were students, 35% were parents, 2% community members, and 42% of those that responded were staff members. There were some key words that kept popping out in our thought exchange, and those key words were counseling, emotional support, academic support, and mental health access were the key words that were most mentioned in our stakeholder input through the thought exchange. So these ideas have influenced the plan aspects. So you'll see in this plan, mental health crisis counselor, 3 specifically, 1 for each site. You'll see in this plan a district prevention and safety coordinator, an additional school psychologist, additional funding for tutoring and extended learning opportunities, and a program of electives in 0 and 9th period. Repair of facilities and support for student-led initiatives. So we had students specifically say they haven't been able to fundraise, they have things they want to do, and they felt the district should support them, and we felt that that was a good idea. Specifically, this goes to Soaring Above Eagles, as well as the Yellow Ribbon Club, CUHSD, and the Student Health Collaborative? Matt, I forgot the name of it. Anybody remember? At Southwest. I think it's a Student Health Collaborative, a collaboration between staff and students. We have not yet taken this plan to school site councils. The school site councils are in the process of being elected. They have their first meeting November 8th and November 18th, and we will share it with them at that time. So a draft of the ESSER 3 plan was sent to all staff, students, and parents on 10/4 via the Aries Parent Square. So we had some feedback that was received, and you'll see that in the following areas. On-site testing was the feedback we received from the draft plan. Continued provisions of PPE. Support for student-led mental health initiatives came directly from our students. Additional supports for clubs and enrichment opportunities that came from some of our staff members. And the repair and improvement of facilities to prevent COVID, such as locker rooms, it's covered up, but bathrooms and drinking fountains, etc. was also mentioned in our feedback on that community engagement piece. So this was included when I sent out the feedback if they had any questions. So I did receive feedback through the thought exchange, through the Google form, and an email sent directly to me, and the draft of the plan was included for them. This is a word bubble or a word graph of all the words that came out of our thought exchange and our feedback from our community. You can see emotional, resources, academic, counseling was the biggest. So the bigger the word, the more times it was mentioned. So counseling was our biggest word, along there with health, mental, academic, access, resources, were some of the other key terms. that were highlighted in our thought exchange. So this is the first aspect that funding is tied to, and that's safe return to in-person learning. So these are the key actions that are outlined in our Sr3 expenditure plan. Provide PPE, N95 masks, weekly COVID-19 testing, cleaning and sanitation. Provide outdoor instructional spaces. Provide additional security. Review and revise current MOT program where needed to assure efficient and effective practices. Provide training for all staff, students, and families regarding the prevention of the spread of COVID-19. That action is the one that triggered the comment regarding looking at our restrooms and our sinks and our fountains because staff felt it's difficult to do that with the condition of some of our facilities. That's what triggered that one. Providing the welcome stations at the sites where visitors are screened and can get PPE if they do not have theirs. Storage facilities for PPE and cleaning supplies. As we know, space is at a premium on our campuses, so storing these mask supplies, we need some place to do that. Hire a prevention and safety coordinator, and repair and renovation of school facilities were all of the items that are in our Sr3 plan related to safe return and in-person instruction. This is the biggest piece of our plan. Although it's not the most expensive, it has the most actions. I believe there are 16 actions in this section. So this is addressing the impact of lost instructional time. So again, we're on more money for intercession, Saturday school, educational enrichment. You'll notice that it's called out at CUHS and SHS. That's because in the ELO, there's money allocated for educational enrichment activities for CUVA, Phoenix Rising, and Desert Oasis. And so we now called out Central and Southwest, again in response to a staff member who said, could we support our ASBs and some of the activities going on campus because they haven't been able to fundraise due to the pandemic. So supplemental tutoring, and then supporting the reteach, retake, and replace that goes on our campuses. Increased counseling support. That'll be in the form of our mental health crisis coordinators or counselors. Increased access to library resources. You know, we do have one certificated librarian, so we're looking to add staff to each of our libraries to support the things that are going on there. Google certification for students. So we offered this summer Google certification for our teachers in the mindset that we want our students to graduate with employability skills. We're looking at offering fee waivers or reimbursement for students to gain Google certification, specifically level 1. Mental health crisis counselors are there. Additional support to Central Union Virtual Academy. We currently have about 160 students, which require a minimum of 4 teachers. In our ELO, we budgeted for 2 teachers. So we need to add additional staff, as well as we need to add a clerk and a registrar to support the master agreement process. An additional school psychologist, additional offerings during 0 and 9th period, site-based vehicles to provide transportation during emergency situations and to conduct home visits. So that would be 1 vehicle assigned to each site. We did have a situation with a student in which we didn't have a vehicle to transport the student to crisis. We realized it was a need for our district. Many of our families don't have transportation or they're going back to work. We'd like to place a vehicle at each site for emergency situations, for our staff to safely conduct home visits, and to transport our students if they have an appointment that they need to attend. Professional development for staff and strategies for our English learners. We've noticed a gap with our English learners due to COVID. It is an issue with the pandemic. We want to increase that professional development and work on that part of our program. Storage spaces for Chromebooks during PE. We did this great one-to-one initiative. We want to make sure that our Chromebooks stay safe. It is a huge monetary investment, over $3 million probably so far. So we're looking at putting some spaces in the PE locker room so that PE teachers don't have to worry about those Chromebooks. And then again, money to support our student-led mental health initiatives, specifically at Central and Southwest, but there's money in case there is one that comes up at Desert Oasis, Phoenix Rising, or CUVA. And the use of the remaining funds, with the addition of all of this staff and all of these additional services, we are rapidly running out of space. So we allocated some of the money from Sr3 to support the expansion of our sites, the expansion of the district office. Specifically, we need space in special education. If we're hiring all of these extra counselors, all of these extra mental health providers, we need a place for them to go. That's private and secure. Our Family Resource Center, and also district office staff that are providing support to students. And we need to also look at possible additional space for Central Union Virtual Academy and at Promise House. The $4 million is a drop in the bucket. It's definitely going to be much more expensive than that, but we do have an outcry for space and office space, so we felt that it was an appropriate use of our funds to allocate a portion of this money to provide those services and provide the space for those services. So what are the next steps for the SR3? So once the board has approved the SR3, I have 5 days to submit the plan to the Imperial County Office of Education. Our approved plan will be translated, shared with staff and parents, so I'll send it out via Parent Square. It'll be posted on our website in both Spanish and English. And then just to keep in mind that this plan is a living document. So if you approve it tonight, and let's say we go out to the school site councils at their first meeting and they have ideas or suggestions that we need to change, we can change the plan. If it is not a substantial change, it would just come back as an information item. If it's a substantial monetary change, usually that's between 15 and 25% of your funding in a change, it needs to come back for approval. And if we get to the end of the year and we allocated money in one area and we realize we need to switch it to another, we can make that change and reapprove it. So between now and 2024, it is a living document. It doesn't die once we approve it tonight. We can make changes and revisions. And then again, our funds will be available for expenditure. We're assuming beginning December 1st, 2021, we need to put the budget and make sure it's all correct before we start spending our money. We have received a portion of these funds. And I think that's it. Yeah, it doesn't slide anymore. Yeah. Are there any questions?
I do have a question.
Okay, Maria.
So, thank you for that. That was very comprehensive, very useful. One of the questions that I do have is of the 2% of the community organizations that provided feedback, were any of those organizations civil rights or social justice organizations? Because I believe, and I want to say that somewhere I read something that Esther needed to have feedback from civil rights organizations.
So we did have feedback. Our plan was reviewed by the SELPA, which does count as an advocate group. We have shared it with our parents in DLAC and ELAC. They're also advocate groups. So as far as a specific civil rights group, we did not receive any feedback from them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we are going to take it out to our school site councils. I think that's extremely imperative because we know they are a reflection of our parents, and so I'm glad that's going to happen.
So I spoke today with Lenore, Alicia, and Annabelle and Patty regarding, it's already slated to be on the agenda. I believe that Southwest School Site Council meets November 8th. Central School Site Council meets November the 18th. And so we're ready to go for those days. And again, if they have any substantial feedback, I can revise it and bring it back.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know what we can do at this point. If we haven't actually received feedback from social justice organizations, what can we do on our end to kind of engage them and get their feedback? Because we know that equity issues have really bubbled up as a response to the pandemic. So I really want to make sure that, we do have groups in our community that are very, right now are very present and very willing to work with our school districts. I think if we can, kind of reach out and engage them, that would be, I would feel very better about, that we have a very solid document.
So if I can get contact information for them, I'd be more than happy to send it out. Again, any specific feedback that comes back, we can revise it, we can bring it back.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you want to provide Dr. Andrews with the names and email addresses or phones, I can send them a copy and ask for specific feedback. I'd be more than happy to do that. I would love to get their feedback. I would encourage it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Getting their feedback on the front end can prevent problems on the back end.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
I have no questions.
Yes. Oh.
No, I have
No questions.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
Oh. Sorry. You mentioned that we could make changes and revisions up until 2024, but I missed somewhere where you mentioned 25% or something.
Oh, so
come back to the board?
Yeah, when you're talking about funds and you're talking about plans that include funds, they call material changes. I want to say it's 25%. So if you modify your funding, that equals to 25% of the amount that you're allocated in your plan, that requires a board approval. If it just happened to be, oh, you know what, we're going to add, they wanted us to add Phoenix Rising as a school that got support, and we just added a name and it doesn't change the funding, it could just be an information item to come back, by the way, here are the changes. but material differences, about 25% of the funding amount, which are, what, $2.6 million, would require a board approval. But if it's at the will of the board, if I make major changes, even in wording, we can bring it back for board approval. It's very simple.
The other thing to consider is that as you can tell, there's a significant amount of work to be done in here, right? We've talked about positions and hiring people, and there's facility concerns, and there's storage items, and there's contracts with various providers or vendors. All of those individual items also come back to the board for approval and under the normal scheme or scope of the work that we normally do. So just because you're approving the plan now doesn't mean there won't be additional approvals within the different expenditures that'll come before the board. So there'll be, in essence, and this is again in addition to and on top of our LCAP budget. So this is a significant amount of money to be spending on our students to provide just really enhanced services for them. But it will require, bringing on more staff and all the considerations that come with that.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments from the board? Thank you, Ms. Fox.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve this item?
I would like to motion to approve the.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It was moved by Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mrs. Pinedo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Hearing nothing, that item passes. Information items. ECSTA? Dr. Andrews, do you have information?
No information items, but I see Mr. Duenas is here. I also know Mr. Gutierrez from CSEA is not here tonight.
Okay.
He's at the volleyball game. So.
Good evening, board members and everyone in attendance. My name is Gabino Duenas, the president of a Centro Secondary Teachers Association. I'm here to talk about quite a few things tonight. Last time I addressed the board at the last board meeting, I talked a little bit about the cleanliness of our schools. And it's been almost a month. The last time you guys approved a study report to help to determine, the amount of custodians that are being needed in facilities and all that, and I kind of like the idea of that, but I also urged you that night to take action because the action is what's necessary. And I'm not sure exactly whether or not they've gone and hired outside agencies or not, but I know that the schools are still dirty. Now, during a pandemic, that is of an urgent need to keep our schools extra clean, and when things are not clean, that's disheartening. Some of my teachers have come and said a few words tonight as far as their concerns, and they're actually very valid concerns, which I really urge you to listen to, because we are in classrooms with 30 plus students every single day. Some of them are vaccinated, not all. These kids are getting sick, and we're not necessarily being notified, in my opinion, in not the best way, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but the cleanliness would really help to sort of stop from people, at least getting sick and other types of illnesses, right? I don't believe that enough has been done since the last time I stood here and talked to you about that. We still have issues with, black widow spiders all over the place. And I understand that there's restrictions as to when you can and can't spray, but there's also things that I've learned from a friend of mine who is an owner of a company, where he stated that companies that usually get school districts, typically what they'll do is they'll avoid doing the job, because in order to do the job they have to report to the entire community that they're going to spray, and there's a certain requirement for them to do that reporting ahead of time. And so what most of them do is they don't report, they don't spray, and I think that's what's happening here. I don't know, But I think that that's what may be happening, that we're not getting the services that we're paying for because it just takes too much work on that company's part. They'd have to notify the entire community that they're going to spray, so they're coming up with reasons as to why they're not going to do the spray, right? And it could be as simple as, well, I don't see the spider, so I can't spray. I can't put my license at risk because if I don't see them, then I can't actually spray. There's things that they can do, things that they should do, but I don't think that they're doing as much as they should be doing. So that's on cleanliness. The next topic that I want to talk to you about is discrepancies in contact tracing reporting. I applaud that most recently we took steps to come in line with ICOE's system of reporting and the protocols that they were going to follow in order to make sure that things were done in a uniform manner. However, we still have issues that we are still not in a complete straight line with, and those things would be who gets the report and what is being reported. So I remember back in August, I received a notice, at least it was forwarded to me, I didn't get it to my inbox, that there was a possible exposure at Southwest High School, and this was from ICOE. So employees of ICOE received the notice, and it was forwarded to me, and I saw it, and I said, well, okay, so this is what we're going to be getting. And I spoke to you guys about how we have not been receiving them in a timely manner and things of that nature. But our system or our notices are still very different to what ICOE was doing back in August. In August, the one that we all received or passed around amongst ourselves stated that there was a potential exposure at Southwest High School in room Q91. Now, that particular exposure gave us a good idea of who could have possibly come in contact with these people. Now, the problem with that is that ICOE reported that to their employees, yet in that building, in that hallway, those employees are always seen. I eat lunch in that building every single day. I did not receive anything from my district. So there's a problem there. But that's way back in August, right? So I was hopeful that those issues would be resolved by now. Probably now about 3 weeks, there was a notice that was sent out, I think it was September 27th, something like that. I'm not exactly sure on the exact date. There was an exposure at Southwest, or a potential exposure at Southwest. It was reported to us that it was at Southwest. Big campus, many buildings. Come to find out, it was my classroom, my student. Well, at least my student was the one that was sick. None of the teachers that are there, that little girl goes to, were notified. So we go through, okay, so what is the responsibility? And AB 685 is clear as to who gets it, but then there's also language that's being interpreted as to what is a facility, what is a work site. So we've got work sites which are being interpreted by our district as an entire school, whereas ICOE is interpreting it as that physical building where it happened. Why can't we be in line with what ICOE is doing? Why can't I know that it happened in the Q building or in the O building, which is where my classroom's at? If you would have told me it's in the O building, I would have actually taken some steps to be a little bit more cautious. I would have gone and got tested just to make sure. I would not have gone to my mother's house that weekend. I would not have gone, just in case, but I did. So when I find out that I put my mom at risk, it really infuriates me that someone in this district is not making sure that we are as safe as we should be. That's all I'm asking for. I approached my principal, and he stated, "What is it that you want?" I said, I want more notice. I wanted more than what I got. I don't need to know who the student is. I don't need to know that. And then it comes out, okay, so what protocols are we following when it comes to contact tracing? Okay, they interviewed the 14-year-old girl and asked her, were you wearing a mask? Were you around anybody for more than 15 minutes? That's the extent to where it went. We're taking the word of a 14-year-old to determine contact tracing of everyone. That little girl sits next to another student all period long. That other little girl was not notified. I confirmed that today. I didn't tell her why I was asking her, but I did confirm that she was not notified. We're not doing things the way we should be. We are not. We are not doing things in the best interest of all of our students and all of our employees. We are not doing things fast enough. We are not being as proactive as Ms. Cervantes stated earlier. So, we had several teachers allude to or discuss the MOU, and I'm not here to negotiate directly with you. I won't do that. I know the rules. But I will say this. We do have effects and changings of working conditions. We have things that are changing as we're going, and for us to say we are not interested into entering into any new agreements sends the message that we are not going to have an MOU. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's okay. I don't think that when I send an email as a response to that, that it doesn't get read for 7 days. I used to be kind of, yeah, I think we can work together. I think we're working in a positive direction. I don't see that anymore. I don't. I'm trying, but there has to be reciprocity. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone representing the CSEA? Mr. Gutierrez is not here. Any last minute items, Mr. Andrus?
No, ma'am.
Okay, this meeting is adjourned.